You spent the night after saving the world at the Wayside Inn because you all desperately needed a long rest.
Yes, we did.
The patron of the Wayside Inn gave you free bedding, and when you went upstairs to get a rest, you found there was a gnome wizard who was busy hiding under a bed, who had been there and decided not to come out all night. But they cleared out plenty of bedding for you, and you had a nice sleep. So in the morning when you came down, there's no staff left. Sorry, go ahead.
I hope there's some ale for us. We were the conquering heroes.
There is some ale. It's down in the cellar though, and all of the barrels are covered in bits of brain and tiger's head, to be fair. But they can certainly
adds to the flavour.
Certainly bring you a barrel of ale up. So you have a good long rest, and then when you come down in the morning, you find basically trying to swill all of the bodies out of the Wayside Inn with a mop and bucket. Long rest, and for some reason you have a lot of XP. I don't know why.
Because you just fucking saved the world, man.
Oh, aren't there some JP to dish out? No.
There are some JP to dish out. So literally, as you come down the stairs, she's like trying to drag out these cultist bodies that's all chopped up. There's a bucket of lime and water in the thing that she's trying to mop all of the blood with.
All right, Rich, now give her a hand. Here, you missed hand.
So you're going to drag out some bodies. Yeah, there was a ring and there were several potions. The potions you can test by just dipping your pinky finger in, a la Young Frankenstein. So if you want to do that, that's fine. Is that okay with you?
Yeah. That's fine.
So you've got 4 potions of greater healing, but the ring, obviously, you have to sleep with it. Does anybody want to sleep with the ring? A platinum ring?
To be honest with you, I thought I'd picked up that ring last week.
That was in the bag.
Oh, right, okay.
In the bag with the 500 gold.
Will that fit? What was the... I was interested in something. I'm sure it was the ring. Because didn't we get like a really good gold or piece of armour?
There was a suit of plate armour that had been crafted to contain the storm.
Yeah, it didn't have any magic, but that would have been good for anybody who wanted some armour, I suppose.
Well, sadly, nobody in this party can actually wear it because it's plate mail.
I possibly could. But I'm not going to.
Can you? I didn't know that.
What size is this ring? Does it just sort of like...
It's a small platinum ring with a number of strangely cut sapphires which vaguely resemble pools of water.
I'll wear it on my smallest pinky.
Does anybody else want it? Because you've got a ton of magical items.
Is it heavy?
That's correct.
Heavy armour.
No, I want a ring.
The plate mail is, yeah.
No, I can't wear it. I'm lying.
I'll try the ring.
We can sell it though.
Right, so Dave, you sleep with the ring, you sing it to sleep and cuddle it and thing. And in the morning...
my precious.
It is Dave's precious. I'm not sure if it needs attunement, but I guess find out. Because it is a ring of water walking.
Oh, lovely.
So if you want to drag that from the party sheet...
That's going to come in handy.
Yep, indeed. A ring of water walking. You can drag it from the party sheet to the character sheet. Do you want to distribute the 500 gold pieces that you earn now, do you?
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. So many gold pieces.
How far off are we to level up?
You don't level up until after the end of the adventure, which you're approaching the last part now. Right, so were you actually taking the mick, or were you actually going to help her move all of these bodies and dump them outside?
No, not taking the mick. I'll help her.
Yeah, I'll muck in as well. While singing, let the bodies hit the bodies.
So maybe an hour and a half, and you've dragged all of the bodies outside, and she mops the floor with lime and water. Then
and I'm like, if you put some coconut in there, you've got a really good song.
So she brings you some cured meat and bread and cheese, and she says, well, all of the fresh stuff that was down in the basement's kind of ruined, unless you got you like a bit of brain in with your bacon, I suppose.
It'll wash.
And then after that, so after you have a hearty breakfast, a good rest, and a long sleep, do you bid the lady farewell and head back to Phandalin? Do you head back to Neverwinter? Where are you planning on heading?
We have a cart that we need to take
back to Phandalin, back to Leylon.
Leylon, and I'm sure that's where we ended on going anyway, because that's where didn't we discuss last week on the map that we read with magic goggles? It had all of the things marked out. And Leylon was the last, or one of the last places where there was like the dead. We cleared out the lightning people, but there's also like a party of the dead there, isn't there? And we said that we were going to go over and try and speak with them, or maybe capture one and try and interrogate them.
Yeah.
Is that Is that something that you all want to do, lads?
I can't
Yeah.
do. Don't forget, we've got that island we need to go to as well.
Yeah, but with Leylon's closer.
Well, you need a ship, well, except for Shash, but
Yeah, but I mean, it's just. Yeah, you got to run all the way there.
Oh, Jesus! No, it's the ring.
right. So you head back to Fondling, and it takes maybe half a day to get there because you're plodding on a road. All of the roads are sodden because of the great storm that was going, and if it's not paved, it's turned to a mud marsh basically. But you plod slowly into Leylon and head towards where you're heading. You dropping the cart off?
Have we still got that mission of dropping the cart?
Yeah.
Yes.
We might as well then.
I can't remember who we were dropping it off to. Was it the general store?
Jeremy.
Yeah, you were just you were dropping it off to the town council, which is currently set outside in sort of the tented area because they're still rebuilding from the destruction that was
Oh, is that
brought on earlier.
I can't remember what she's called. Not the Growler, but it's similar.
It is the Growler, yes.
It's the Growler.
She's the leader of the town council.
Yeah, she's the
Yes,
attractive
Growler.
woman.
Right, so do you have any idea whereabouts it is you will be heading first? Just to drop it off at the Growler? I'm trying to find a map.
We're going to give the Growler its cart.
Trying to find a map, I am, so I am.
I've got a map of Leylon up. Is there a different map of Leylon?
No, just I don't have one.
Images
Oh,
and
well,
that.
can you not go into my thing and see if you can drag it
Yeah,
over or
I've
something?
got
Is it the Leyland DM map or the Leyland dot?
I think I just gave you the DM map because there's a couple of things marked on there that you know about, so there's nothing
Yeah.
on there that's not you don't know about.
I found if you go into images and maps and that top bit, if you go into the group that just says uncategorized, you get all the maps that you've put into it.
So you
You could just save them at the bottom.
I did do that and it's dug on again and it didn't update.
head in from the north road, like clop slowly through town, presumably deliver all of the goods at the settler camp at the bottom where everybody is.
Yeah.
Right, so we've come north and we're going to go straight through the road and back out the south gate to the settler. Right?
Yes. Right. As you approach the Shrine of Lathander, you see the small hobbit priest, or rather Merry, standing there, and he seems to be wearing black robes. He's got a skull for a face, and he's standing in front of a group of children, which all seem to be cowering in terror from him.
What are you doing? You can get arrested for that in a more civilized town.
He turns to
Don't be
face
dressed
you.
Not Ireland.
Turns to face you. His face is skull rictus mask, and he says, "Hello, boys. Do you like my Halloween costume? It's good, isn't it?" And then you notice as he's turned around that all of the kids are there giggling, and it looks like he was showing them the Halloween costume. He says,
Jolly good, Father. Carry on.
"Father Drogle, he's left you a note. He has."
Okay, then pass it over.
It's
Right.
Charlene.
He says, "I'll just nip into the church to get it. Obviously, there's not many pockets on a Halloween costume.
Isn't that church destroyed?
It's been rebuilt. It was almost completely destroyed, but it was being rebuilt. And he
Got no outer wall, but they can repair a fucking demolished church.
Right. He comes out bearing a letter which is sealed with wax. It doesn't have a signet in it or anything, and it's just addressed to my friends, the interested party.
That's us, lads. We've got a bit of mail. Get it.
We got Albert Mail, we have.
Very excited about post.
So you tear the envelope excitedly open, I guess. Well, actually, it's not an envelope, it's just sealed with wax. So
No, I lightly break the seal.
you lightly break the seal by running your thumb along it. There you go, immersion. Boo. And beyond it is a letter, and it says, "My friends," and I genuinely mean my friends, "I'm sorry to have deceived you for all of this time, but I must be grateful for dealing with Varane and indeed dealing with that prick of a vampire. Time has come for me to depart Leylon as I have been recalled after the actions of the Stormlord's people." Are you reading this in Drugle's voice? So, after the actions of the Stormlord's people, so it is. We've been recalled. It's now no longer just a skirmish game of who controls what points. Unfortunately, now it's war. I genuinely mean this. I consider you my friends, and I hope that everything goes well for you. Just a friendly warning. I would visit the sea lady in the settler camp, as you seem to have made a new enemy, and indeed an old one. So good luck. Hope we don't bump into each other on the opposite sides in the future. Love, Father Drogle.
Right, so he was like kind of knew more about this than he was letting on. and he wasn't just a clot.
Where has he gone back to?
Father Merriweather is like, I don't know. He said he had to go and see some family. He's heading up to Neverwinter, he told me, and said, can I give you this letter? And this is my best Sam, Master Frodo.
We've been a bit deceived, like, has he been using us to achieve his goals?
Well, it certainly wouldn't be the first time, would it, boyo?
Can't trust any bastard.
We should have demanded better pay.
What a little prick.
Well,
So
made
who
an old
made an enemy in the
and-
settle camp? What was the name he said in the settle
No.
camp?
Apparently, you've
Seer.
made a new enemy and an old one, and you should see the seer in the settler camp.
There's not many of our old enemies still alive, so they want to count themselves very lucky.
Very lucky
So let's
indeed.
move. So sort of like doff our hats to the father. So you carry on with your scaring of the young children.
I think Rick's not impressed, like, that we've been I don't
Duped.
understand why he couldn't have been honest with us. I'm an honest
Maybe it's like a
dwarf
secret
that
war.
happens to be a warlock.
Right, we best go and see the seer. Maybe they can give us more information on what's going on.
I'll take a swig out of my hip.
Well, hang on.
flask.
Can I ask? I'm going to ask the father. I forget his name. If there's any sort of
Very
like
well.
religious if there's any religious organisations like the Knights Templar or something like that fight on behalf of the church.
Oh, he says, we have our clerics and our paladins. They do all that fighting stuff, but that's not me. I'm more of a Harvest Festival kind of guy.
So you've got paladins.
Oh yeah.
Do they wear what sort of uniform do they wear?
Paladins. They wear plate mail and carry
Well,
shields, and they've got heraldic symbols upon them and all of that.
Yeah, you're just describing a knight, really. So what do they wear? Like priestly garb as well as the armor?
You know what a paladin looks like, surely, in D&D?
No.
Yeah,
and how what a
basically.
paladin looks like in real life.
They look a bit like a holy knight.
Yeah,
I like it. Like that's
Crusader
what I
knight.
was just like a Templar.
Yeah, that sort of thing. Aye.
Yeah, that's basically what a paladin dresses like a Knights Templar.
Well,
And do they have
that's
clerks who look after them?
Yeah, the clerics are the more holy bits, and the paladins are kind of the
Smashy
great
bits.
stuff and smash stuff up.
And where's the nearest paladin base?
Neverwinter will be the
Lodging.
closest one. Although any of the larger temples generally has a few knights assigned to them.
But the main ones in Netherwinter, yeah.
Yeah, it's the main
He
city.
is Sengo wanting to become a paladin, like?
No, I'm just wanting to think. I'm just because obviously putting the story together. Obviously, I'm just trying to sort of like work out like what's happening. Rather, so maybe ask him again. Like, what do you know of any of the inner workings of the paladin? Who are your mortal enemies? Who are you currently sort of like beefing with?
Evil, beefing with evil.
Beefing with? Well, we're not beefing with anybody. The Thunder of the Morning Lord, he brings happiness and warmth into everybody's hearts every morning. He does.
Never liked Python. God of morning glory.
Indeed. And who doesn't like a bit of morning glory? I mean, really.
I'm not allowed to say anything.
Right, I think it would
Right.
be worth
Let's
us
move
going
down to
and
the seer.
singing the seer.
Well, hang on. Well, no, wait there. Are we not supposed to drop off this crate thing first?
Thought we did at the ground.
Yeah, you drop the crate off at the settler camp, which is where most of the settlers are while they're busy rebuilding the town.
And is that where the seer is as well?
Yeah.
Yes.
Right, well, let's mosey on down there.
Okay, so you clop away from the semi-repaired shrine to Lythander.
This is with our empty coconuts.
Yes, with your empty coconuts. Clippity-cloppity-clippity-clop. And you head out into the settler camp. There's a large green area you can just see on the map if you zoom in. There's a green on the outside, and there's a load of tents and wagons painted. And you meet up with the Growler and a bunch of people as day-to-day things are happening down at the settlers camp. And she says, I see you back then.
Yes, thank you too.
Aye, well, thanks and all that. It was nice of you to do your job, and especially in the bad weather and that.
Well, we are professionals, lass.
Nice of you to do your job. How condescending.
Yeah, well,
Be
she is.
careful, that Sengo will go to a union.
She is terribly grumpy. Dwarven lass of the stereotypical type. I think Rick likes her.
She's basically Nicola Sturgeon, isn't she?
She is, yes. She's absolutely Nicholas Sturgeon. So then, all right. I guess you can have a few days off, and while we dry the place out.
Well, we've got to go and speak to some seer, apparently. Where's the seer? Who's seeing everybody lying down here?
The seer? over in the wagon there, and it's like a typical gypsy sort of caravan.
Oh, I can see her.
Decorated brightly, and it has a chalkboard outside that says fortunes, tolls, balls crystallised, that kind of thing.
£2.50 in a haggis.
Yeah, £2.50, so it is.
That's expensive. It's not even real money, eh?
Well, I'm for all for getting me balls crystallised.
Yeah, there's no wrong with a bit of crystallised balls, is there?
I think we should go and see this. See what's going on. Don't like being told we've got enemies when I want to have drinking time.
Yeah, I was just checking the NPC list. I was right, gentlemen. So you've delivered the wagon, and you are happily free to do whatever you need to do for a few days. Or if you want to go to the island, you're going to need to find somewhere to procure a boat.
We're not going to see this here.
All we need is a rowing boat and shash.
And a rope.
Aye, he can tow one.
A bullwhip.
Find a way to attach the ring to Dobbin, who never tires, and then you all sit in a rowing boat behind.
Can you turn into animals yet and turn into like a dolphin?
You can't do a dolphin, but they've both seen a hunter shark, so they can change into a hunter shark, if that'll help.
Tell about.
Right, well, you go and see the seer, and I'm going to try and pull me best Madame Vastra. Madame Vastra lives on.
Are you doing the Russian or the Liverpudlian?
I probably can't do the Russian. So outside is a silver bell, which is quite obviously not silver. It's just got silver paint on it, which is wearing slightly, and it's decorated with beads and all sort of articles of an esoteric and allegedly magical nature, like small dried rodents and pictures and things like that.
Can Rick cast detect magic to see if there's any actual magic going on here?
Yes, you can cast detect magic, and no, there's actually no magic at all. It's all glass beads and good wishes. There's a small tingle noise. A few seconds later, you hear a, "Please come in. I was expecting you."
Of course you
I'd
were.
be disappointed if you weren't.
Was that because you looked out the window last?
No, the spirits,
told me
they
you were
talk to
coming.
me. So she comes in and she says, "Oh, the heroes of Leylon." You notice that her accent keeps chopping and changing along with the DM.
Oh, you're right. It is the best Madame Vastra then if it's not in the same accent.
It says, "And what can I do for you boys?"
We've been told by Father Drugel to come and speak to you because we need some advice.
Do you need your fortunes read? Do you want me to read your lifelines?
Not really. We've been told that there's an enemy. We have two enemies, one old and one new.
She says, I best do a reading then. And she turns round and she says, "I'll just get my crystal ball."
I've got my hand on my short sword.
Right. She rolls a 3, and there's a big squeaking noise as apparently she's unscrewing the glass doorknob from behind the bead curtain, and she comes out with that crystal ball that she holds out, and she's like, "We'll do a reading in the crystal ball then."
That's from Home Base.
Ye old days.
Hovel base.
We're all dressed in green and orange livery.
So she lights some scented herbs to set the atmosphere, and she says, "Can we all sit down around here and I'll do a reading for us?" And she pulls out a pack of dog-eared cards, and she starts laying the cards down, and then she frowns and she's like, "No, the cards are saying that an old enemy rises with the aid of a new enemy." And you're looking down, and it's a 3 of clubs, a 7 of spades, and a queen of diamonds, and you're like, right, okay.
It's almost like that's what we told you.
She says, "Well, we can do a deep meditation if you're willing to find out what's going on."
How deep?
She says, "All the way, dearie."
What, balls as well?
Crystal balls, yes.
Sango will be a man for that then.
She could not take half my girth.
She says, "PG, dearie, come on, we've got children watching." Right, so she opens a small...
Did she break the fourth wall there and look into the webcam?
She looks into the camera and she's like... she opens a small wooden case, which, again, looks like it may once have been, it's supposed to look like it's gilded in silver, but it's really just silver paint just rubbing off. And he says, right, I like the incense of seeing. So you may experience some visions or meditations or anything like that. So those of a faint heart may want to leave now.
Senghor wants to sort of like have a sniff of the incense to see if he can identify its botany.
Make a nature roll?
The drugs roll.
I'm going to stay
Skills.
near the door and hold me breath.
Is it nature, is it?
Yeah. A 12. It does seem to be some kind of fragrant herb, but it's not one that you seem to be familiar with.
This bitch be using narcotica.
She's obviously got to have something to pass the time because it ain't magic.
Right, so she lights the incense of seeing, and
I love the way you keep... The incense of
the
seeing.
incense of seeing.
It's subtle, but it works.
And she's like, right, close your eyes, clear your minds, and sort of like
Not bloody lightly.
Are we sitting down in a circle around the
sitting
table?
down in a circle, cross-legged, yeah. On
Who am I
cushions,
sitting
there's no
Who
table.
am I sitting next to?
Who do you want to sit next to?
I want to be between Rhea having Etrigal, and when she's not looking, I keep rubbing them heads and giving them wet willies and that, because we're really not taking it seriously at all.
No, you're totally not taking it at all. I have just found the button that I've been looking for 10 minutes while I've been talking to you. It's fine, don't worry about it. So a few minutes pass, and you sort of slyly open your eye, and nothing seems to happen. And you're looking at each other, and then strangely you feel lighter. You try to stand up and move, but you're unable to move, and it's almost as if your spirits detach from the body, you float in the air, and you look down, you can see yourselves all sitting there in a circle.
Oh, I say, like, lads, I'm having an out-of-body experience. I'm quite
Can
beside
you roll
myself.
Arcana to know what's going on, like if it's an astral travel?
Yeah, certainly you can make an Arcana roll. You're really good at Arcana, aren't you? Oh, you are quite good at Arcana.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does seem to be some kind of astral projection.
Oh, so it's real.
Yep. This
You can
bears.
also make an insight check.
Here, what's going on? I don't like this.
That was a good roll for me.
Right, so you float and circle around the room for a few seconds or maybe a few hours. Rick and Shashalian looking at the seer. She kind of looks as if she's panicking, as if she's got a panic look on her face, but you can sense her astral form floating about with you, as if she wasn't really expecting this to happen, and she's like, what the F is going on here?
Is it like Whoopi and Ghost?
Yeah, and then you're all whoosh, suddenly pulled away in a very similar experience to that time that
You smoked all them funny mushrooms.
you smoked all them funny mushrooms. No, the time that you were in the shrine of, you touched the altar of Talos and you were whisked away. And you appear, was it Bracy or was it Andy who did that, who'd been whisked away?
It was me. Gracie.
Yeah. But Bracy, this is a familiar feeling to you. It's very similar to the time it happened at the shrine of Talos.
When I get my body back, I shall gut her like a fish.
Right, so you whisk off and you fly across the grasslands, getting faster and faster and faster, and then you get...
Do we know which direction we went up in?
I was just about to say, do we know where we're moving? Is the sun visible or the moon?
Yeah, the sun's visible. It's almost as if you're flying back towards the mountains again. You get
So
faster
north.
and faster and faster, and you appear once
I'm gonna
more
be sick.
over Icespire Castle.
Over Iceland, did you say?
Icespire Castle, where you fought the dragon.
All right.
Your ethereal forms start to slowly circulate round the roof of the castle. Because of the extreme cold, you can see the corpse of Cryovian still lying there, missing quite a lot of its scales and most of its teeth. And the corpses of the other adventuring party that you bumped into and betrayed and backstabbed. And then
We did
That's a
not do
vicious
that.
rumour.
you didn't betray... I distinctly remember you feeding them to a manticore while he was still alive.
Was the Manticore not our
there was
friend,
that.
though?
Eh?
Was the Manticore not our friend?
Yeah, the manticore's your friend.
So basically, we were just offering him, tea and cakes.
Some takeaway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
There's,
So
there's two sides to every story, Richard. I'll
There's
have you
a-
know. That man was dying anyway. What do you want our manticore friend to eat? His food fucking cold.
Do you expect him to have toast?
I know that. Dear me. Have you no humanity for manticores?
I do like a man.
Right. There is a pop of displaced air, and a portal opens onto. Through it steps this figure, which I can't open in Fantasy Grounds, so I have dropped into Discord.
Ooh. You forgot his face.
Behind him, through the portal, you can see what looks to be some kind of alchemist lab, and through the window, the city goes off into the distance and then starts to curve up towards the sky. It's built on the inside of a giant ring, and this strange person that has stepped through is holding a small amulet which has a sort of a blinking red light in it. He looks down at the amulet and walks over to the dead party men and the remains of the one that was eaten by the manticore, and he holds the amulet to it, and the light starts to blink quickly, and then the mysterious figure looks at the corpse of the dragon and then goes inside to where the other one had died, the one whose arm had shattered, and then he steps back outside. He unrolls an impressively old-looking scroll, and although you have no sound, you presume that he's reading through the scroll. With a loud bang and a pop of magic, the air sort of feels all greasy. The adventuring guys sort of slowly turn their heads, their eyes open, they stiffly begin to get to their feet, and then they walk over to him. They're definitely still dead because you can see all of the wounds on them, the frozen blood, the missing arm, and then they turn back towards the portal. Cryvane's dead eyes snap open, and the horrifically maimed corpse of Cryovane slowly drags itself to its feet and then lets out a roar, and the portal...
A toothless roar.
Expands into a much larger portal, and the figure, the adventurers, and the animated corpse of Cryovane disappear through the portal.
Bloody necromancy.
After
That's
that,
my thing.
there's a loud sort of pop again, and a tugging. You feel a tugging at your feet, and you're whipped faster and faster back until you're into the Seer's caravan again. You pop back into your own body. And as if you was all interrupted halfway through a sentence, and she says, "The bloody hell's going on?" Like that, and then looks about at you all.
I have her up against the wall with me hand round her throat and me dagger next to her ear going, "What did you just do?"
Whose shoulders are you standing on, like?
Well, I can jump very high.
You can jump very high.
Can you levitate?
She's jumping up and down, grabbing her every time.
It just lets go of her every time, like some sort of inverse basketball.
Yeah, well, yeah, she looks as shocked as you do, Andy. Do you want to make an insight check?
Yep.
Rick will point out there was no magic here earlier. That was actual magic. She's I don't know what's going on there. I don't think she actually knows.
She says, I don't know what's happening. Father Drugel, he paid me 10 gold to give you the spell. You know, the palm reading, the incense of meditation, all of that stuff. I don't know what happened. We were flying. We were above a big castle, and there was a big dragon, and the big dragon came back to life. It looked very
Why
angry.
would he pay you?
I don't know. She said there was something else here that I don't do that.
So he's paying you to trick us.
No. He said just to give you the spell, and then I wasn't expecting that. He said they'd get the message, and I didn't know what that means till now. But it's as if some kind of outside force took control.
I think it did. She didn't have that power.
She was like, she looks at you, and she's like, that short sword. It looks awfully sharp.
Oh, it is.
It's making an alley high away around the climate.
Oh, all right. I'll put the short sword away.
Right, she breathes a bit easier and says, I can make you a nice cup of herbal tea if anybody needs the nerves calming. I can elvish it up for you, she says, pulling a bottle of wine out of from behind a silky cushion.
Aye.
Just leave the elf wine. We don't need the chamomile. I hate chamomile anyway. I don't think she knew what was going on there, lads. I think she's being honest. There was no magic here earlier. Now suddenly there's magic. She doesn't really look that good of an actress.
No, she definitely does not look. She looked as surprised as you were, to be honest.
Yeah. And that was bloody necromancy. And they've got that bloody dragon's corpse. It's confusing me so much I don't know what my accent is.
Yeah, it's all right. The DM's been very accent fluid today as well.
I like to say it's being like a vocal chameleon.
It is indeed.
I think we should try and press her on why Drugel Drugel paid her to give her this message. So was he trying to trick us? Was he? Why couldn't he's already left a message? He said, go and see the seer. But then she didn't really do anything. But unless he's trying to fight against both the Stormlord and the vampire necromancy thing going on. Oh, I just wanted to fight things and drink things. I didn't want to have to work them out.
Yeah, that's always the worst, isn't it?
It's almost like I'm playing an investigation game.
Well, that's it. We don't know if he's actually fighting against us or with us. You know, he could be like a third party fighting against both of them.
Could do with finding out. Rick's going to ask the woman, do you know where he went? That Drugel. Oh, I thought he was a Claude. Doesn't seem like a Claude now.
No, he didn't say he was going anywhere. If anybody knows, it'll be Father Merriweather at the
No,
shrine.
he knows bugger all as well. Oh, God, yeah. Yeah, actually, before we, so I don't think we're going to learn much more here, but I think just to make damn certain, can Rick kind of, point out to her that if she's been lying to us, we'll be coming back and potentially roll an intimidation roll?
Yeah, absolutely. She's quite intimidated by Etigal, and she's extremely intimidated now.
That was insight, which is annoying.
Well, you know, in that case, you know that she's incredibly intimidated.
There you go, non-natural 20. Right, so she's probably not going to be lying to us. I'm also going to point out, if you hear anything else about any of this, you let us know. You get message to the Growler and she'll get message to us.
I will. And then she sort of perks up a little bit after having an elvish tea, and she's like, "Oh, since I did a proper incense of insight,
No.
do you think I could put me prices up a bit?"
Does that fuck?
Look, you've confused him so much, he even forgot what accent he was doing.
Yeah. It was more Southwick Chav when he came in, and now he's turned a bit Scottish.
Whoa, chav. I shall have you know I'm an educated fellow.
Right, so you've seen the seer, you've scared the bejesus out of her,
Good.
and you've drank some elvish wine.
As a parting shot, I'll slide a gold piece across the table towards her and say, "Get yourself some proper kit, pet."
She says, "Thank you," and she doesn't even make a pretense as she screws the crystal bottle back onto the doorknob at the back of the...
Find out. I wanted to ask her where or what Drugel gave her that allowed for that astral projection.
That's a good point. I don't know. Did he give her something? Yeah, that's a good
She said he gave her stuff. I mean, she doesn't know how she's done it. Drugel gave her stuff, so we want to know what Drugel gave her, because we might be able to do that again.
He gave her 10.
He gave her 10 gold, yeah. No,
Yeah, but she can't.
Yeah, she doesn't know how that happened at all. Through various insight and intimidation checks, you have discovered that she has no clue.
Maybe he just placed an anchor point in a thing, so that's where it happened from, and it was his power that did it.
Kind of magic indeed, isn't it?
Wizardry.
Sorcery.
Maybe he wasn't even religious. Maybe he was just in the disguise.
So, do you want to head anywhere next, or are you going to ask about getting a boat?
Why don't we nip up to the peculiarity shopy and see if they've got anything new in?
And was there anything else in Drugel's message as well that said where else to go other than just go to see the seer?
No, he just said it was a friendly warning, because he genuinely did like you guys.
Oh, right. Okay, so he is probably on one of the other sides then.
Whatever the sides are, yes, maybe.
Because he said he didn't want to be on another. He didn't want to see us on another.
No, well, is that not
against
just
us
because
as
he
well?
knows we're mercenaries?
Yeah, I think he's probably either on the Stormlord or the undead side.
Yes, the undead side.
Yeah.
So is he on the undead side? Is that what you're saying?
I think he's on one of them. I don't think we necessarily know yet which one. That's just me, though.
But that would mean he's working against his own side by showing us that the undead's unleashed undead on us.
Well, unless he's Stormlord, then.
This is so confusing.
Can we, the message that was read to us, it was that we had to go and sort some people out, didn't we? And that bloody annoying vampire or something like that. He basically put us there to get rid of those people. Oh, remember that the woman, didn't she enacted the ritual too quickly, didn't she?
Yeah,
they told her not. There was a letter saying, "Don't do it so fast," and then she did it anyway because hungry for power.
Yes, indeed.
Maybe it was him who told her not to do it then.
That's what I'm thinking he's Stormlordy.
Was the letter signed by him? Was there a signature or
Do we still have that letter?
Yeah, you got the letter. Yeah, there was a signature for your friend Father Durgle and 2 kisses.
No, but the letter that, or the thing that we saw that told
Oh, yes. You do still have the other letter. The letter that said basically don't start the ritual yet.
Yeah. Did that have a signature or a symbol?
It did not have a signature. It just was an extremely angry letter, as if they should know who it was from.
Can we compare the handwriting on the letters?
You can make an investigation check with
If anybody
with
else is
advantage
better
of
at this.
helping.
Could somebody help me?
Yeah.
Because I've only got
Yeah.
-1.
Yeah.
Or
I
it might
shall
be
help
better if
you.
somebody else has better investigation. It might be better for them to roll because I've got -1.
Well, I've got a +2 if that helps.
That's better, and then I can help you.
Right?
Yeah, so you roll,
You've
Andy.
got investigate, so you got
Investigate.
advantage.
Oh,
Wow. So, to your eyes, it doesn't look like the handwriting matches.
That's an unfortunate roll.
somebody else check this?
Doesn't look right to me. Has anybody else got decent investigation? Sash?
Me, I think 2 seconds. Oh no, I haven't. I've only got +1.
What's Sash got? Oh, he's already rolling.
Yeah, let me roll and I might as well. Anybody could get a decent roll.
I can't roll because I helped.
Just out of curiosity, should we check Drogo's letter with them spectacles just in case?
That's a good idea.
Yes.
It'll probably come to nothing, but we haven't done
it's
it yet.
worth doing it.
It is worth doing it, yes. No, there's no additional information that you find with those spectacles. So that was a good idea.
Who in town's going to be good at writing? One of the clerks or something? Or
Who in town?
yeah, if there's somebody in town who's good at writing and stuff, we could go. Do you think them two look from the same person? And they could have a look.
Yeah, I don't see why not. Clerics are normally pretty good at writing. Aubrey at the peculiarity shop, he can definitely write because he's got ledgers and things.
Oh, there, because we'll have a look. See if he's got anything new in stock this week as well.
Yeah,
Yeah, so you're going to head up to Aubrey's.
yeah, it's a good idea.
Okay, you all pop in. Aubrey, as usual. The door jangles its little bell from behind the door, and he's got one of those bead curtains that he sweeps theatrically aside, and he's like, "Oh, darlings, it is so lovely to see you again in my little shop. What beastly weather we've been having."
Oh, this beastly modern scale.
Yes, nothing worse than being a bit moist, is there?
He says, "Let's see what we have for you, eh? Because I haven't got anything of a thaumaturgical nature, I'm afraid." He says, "All I have is this tiny sketch portrait of a goblin inside of this locket. It's most bizarre. It's like what a lady from Neverwinter would wear, but inside somebody's put a tiny portrait of a goblin."
Well, I'm sure that'll sell.
He says, "I'm having problems shifting it. I'm not going to lie."
Well, can we ask him to look at those letters while we're there?
Letters, he says. Oh my. This seems to be rather disturbing, what? Seems like Arthur Droogle was smoking both ends of the pipe, as we like to say over in the Deep Wood.
I've heard they get up some odd things in the deep wood.
Well, it didn't used to be called the Deep Wood until we got there, so, and he sort of pulls out a face.
Was it the mildly shallow wood?
Yeah. To his eyes, to his sharp elven eyes, he says, "I don't believe they're the same handwriting. If you look at the G, you see this one's all loopy and this one's goes straight down and curls up like a little hook."
So he said they do look slightly familiar.
No, he says
Slightly
they don't match.
Oh, I'm an idiot. Right. Well, can we thank him for his time on that?
Certainly. I hope we'll have something in stock more to your liking rather soon. I'm
sure
expecting
you
the
will.
caravans to come popping in any time now that the dashing rain has stopped.
I'm sure that'll happen. So we think that he's a bit of a double agent. That Dudar was a double agent, even Droogle, possibly for the Stormlord if he's sent some sort of vision towards that, but we're not certain on it, obviously. Where else can we go to try and get some more insight on this? Do we think?
Well, you
Just
have
my
the
opinion.
magical map, which has the dots and things marked on it.
Yeah, we need
Right.
to go to that island.
But that doesn't have a name on the island, just has a big dot. And a lot of the ley lines connect to a nexus point on the island.
That's like one of the main nexus points, does it?
It does look like it is, yes.
Can we have a map off the sword course?
And while you're in, it's not on the map of the sword course, it's off the side of it. And while you're in Aubrey's, you do notice that there's a sort of, an A to Z map of the sword course kind of thing. As you're just walking out, you notice his maps and his maps and leaflets thing where it's got like things to do in Leilon and There's a
Cross-reference that island for anything on there. See if it comes up with anything.
Look under Bad Guys Hideaway.
Bad Guys
Island.
Hideaway. Well, the island is apparently called the Thunder Cliffs.
Should I be seeing a map here, or is it just...
No. Only in your mind. It's theatre of the mind.
What colour is the dot on the island?
The dot
Is it
on the
red?
island is green.
And is green for Stormlord or green for Undead?
Green seems to be for friendly, so you would assume that
Stormlord. Yeah,
red
which would make
be
sense
for
if it's
undead.
called
There's
Thunder
a red
Cliffs,
dot
so-
somewhere in. There's a red dot somewhere in Leylon, and there's a red dot and a green dot in Fandolin.
So we're in Leylon. Can we go towards... Rick might suggest that we
There's
go...
not actually a map of Leylon. It's just where the town of Leylon is. There's a red dot on.
So how else do we know in town?
Father Drugel, who did it.
We'll go back
The
to the
priest,
Growler and
the
ask
head
if she's
priest.
Merryweather.
Mhm.
We could ask Audrey if he's heard of anything, Aubrey if he's heard anything with any untoward undead activity. Obviously, all activity
yeah,
undead
do they
activity
not
has to
have-
be
Up
untoward.
and down the Sword Coast is either complaining about the storms or the undead activity.
I wonder, could we maybe check the priest registry?
Well,
Because they'll have one, won't they?
what you do know is the Stormlord and the Undead Lord have been
Yeah,
attacking
that's
each other's places of power.
Yeah, which is what they're still doing. That's what that map's about. Friendly versus.
Is it worth nipping back up to Fandolin and saying if we can work out who the green and the red dot are up there?
That seemed to be like a mark to indicate friendly and enemy territory
I think-
together. It would be a red herring to nip back to Fandolin at this point. But like, what you're looking for is somewhere in Leylon that the followers of the Stormlord attack, because that would have to be the place
Was it not the fishery?
of power.
No, the Temple of Lathander.
The Thrander Shine, then try to knock it down.
Whoa, how did you jump to that conclusion?
We were there when it happened.
So we should maybe go back to Lythander's shrine and do a bit of an investigation there.
For what, though?
I can detect magic. Detect magic.
We know that, all right. At this point, you're like, well, you keep leaning in and going, well, that can detect magic. And everybody's like, we know, all right, we know you can detect magic. Just cast the bloody thing, get it over with.
You don't have to keep telling us.
What if that costume that the priest who's wearing a real wasn't an fake? Maybe he's one of these priests, Miracle or whatever.
Miracle.
Oh, are they the ones who give you good insurance deals?
Yeah. Right, so
Miracle
you head
it's
back
Miracle
to the
Mondays.
Shrine of Lathander, yeah?
Yeah.
You head back.
If everybody's with that, happy to do that.
I think it's something to do with that table.
The table that we destroyed about 16 times.
If we're going to go back to the Shrine of Lathander and try and work out what's going on, is it worth somebody going in covertly and sneaking about in the hope that, I don't know, well, if he doesn't know we're there, he might say something.
Well, we do have rogues.
Yeah, why don't? Well, I mean, I can pull the priest out and con him into telling us just like I want to look at like some of the local priestly knowledge.
I want to
and I want a
convert to
tour of the
Lathander.
village.
Oh, hey,
Yeah,
let me-
I want a tour of the village. Like, can you walk? While we walk through the village, tell me about Lathander. I'm really interested. And he'll be like hook, line, and sinker, and he'll just start like
Well, unless he's
misering
on-
and blithering on.
Well, unless he's just more into the undead gods, but
In the meantime, we'll loot his treasury. Sorry, did I say that out loud?
you don't seem to know very much about Lythander for a priest of Lythander. Yes, I'm definitely a priest of Lythander. His name's Lythander.
It's the
about as
sun,
much as I
innit?
know.
That's what it's all about, the sun and all that.
Right. So can I do that then? Like distract
Very
him
good
with
at
sort of
morning
like.
glory.
Like-
Go on,
like
then,
what
make
kids-
a persuasion roll. Or I would accept performance if you wanted to, ham it up.
I'm going to do a performance roll then. Yeah, performance like a motherfucker.
Yeah, so you
I communicate to him through interpretive dance.
it's like, please tell me about the Morning Lord, and
I don't want to see how he communicates that.
yeah. So the small hobbit priest takes you for a short walk through the place and points out the things that they're rebuilding and how they are donating. They've got a food bank going and they're helping all of the homeless children and all of that stuff. Right. So the church stands empty, but it's not. It's usually not guarded or anything. So you see Sengo and Father Marigold Brightshine head off towards the north.
I shall float quietly into the church and creep round the shadows a bit.
You creep into the church that you haven't seen since it was knocked down by the followers of the Stormlord. The small altar is still chipped. They haven't replaced it, but they've got it set up right. There's a small font that presumably contains holy water and some pews. and off to the right hand side is they've managed to get one of the rooms built back up with a roof to contain a small bed.
Well, I would presume the last time we found stuff, it was behind an altar. So somebody needs to have a look behind the altar.
Are we all going in?
Except for me.
No.
Yeah,
Somebody
there's no
needs to
reason why
take
not
watch
to.
on the door.
There's no reason why not to.
Someone needs to take watch on the door in case
Just
we come back.
thinking, if I go in, I can use that wand of secret passages, the wand of secrets. Because we had that's where
Excellent thinking.
Good plan.
secret door or trap within 30 feet of you. So if we head in, and then Wick will get his wand out.
Yeah, well, there's not a guard on the door. You can walk in, and there's like a donation box.
Yeah.
And
Is there much in it?
there's a few coppers, and that's about it.
Can we go towards the bed area, and maybe then I'll wave the wand about up there because it is only within 30 feet.
Yeah, so you head towards the back, and you whip your wand out and wave it waskily around.
Yeah.
I've gone all Jonathan Ross there, and indeed, it
I was
shows up.
thinking Elmer Fudd.
It shows up.
What do you do with a walk?
shows
Chuck it out a wabbit.
It shows up a secret door, which is apparently on the left-hand side, which is still demolished, and it was apparently like Father Drugel's room.
I'll pick up the collection box, give it a shake, go, nah, hardly worth the bother, and put it down again.
Can we attempt to get into that bit which is like quite destroyed?
Yeah, you can get in easily enough.
Yeah.
You pushed in, and the roof's collapsed in, and there's only a partial wall. The place hasn't been cleared out of a broken bed or a broken. It's a very simple room with a chest and not a chest, a small table and the broken remains of a bed. But in the corner, it appears that one of the flagstones is a secret entrance.
Are we?
Can I use me thieves' tools to get it open?
You certainly can try, sir. So you whip out your thieves' tools. At the 14, you're pretty damn good with it. And using the small crowbar that you have in your thieves' tools, you manage to lever up one side, and then once you get that up, the well-balanced flagstone lifts up, and there's a crude set of steps cut into the floor leading down into the darkness. But it's all right because everybody can see. Nobody's one of them non-see humans. The stairs lead down for about 20-30 feet, and then the crudely cut, and it leads into like a small natural cavern that is half submerged in water, so it comes up to the small guy's chest.
I'll creep quietly down the stairs, stealthily, checking there's no traps, and I'm not going to go arse over tit and land in the water.
Yeah.
Sensible.
Go on then, roll a perception or an investigate check, I would allow.
Hang on.
Yeah, nice. There are no traps, as apparently this has been undisturbed. So as you head down, you can see that in one side of the chamber must have been some kind of storage area, as there's some baskets floating in the brackish water, and the other side seems to be an altar. There's a small stone altar carved with a skull symbol of Maykel. But can you make a religion check, people that have gone down this hole? Who's gone in the hole?
Rick would have gone.
You all explode! Oh, you're very religion.
I shall draw my short sword.
Right, you realise that it was definitely a temple, and apparently it was to Maykel, judging by the skull motif. But all of the paraphernalia is gone, so it looks like it's been deconsecrated rather than just abandoned.
Oh, the bloody Drogel.
So there was
Aye.
apparently a shrine or a temple or some kind of religious thing here, hidden under the Lathander temple.
I'm going to have his bloody nuts off when we see him next.
I was just thinking, what we ought to do is we ought to wait till Father Merryweather comes back and goes, hey, why are you wet? And then we'll drag him down there by the ear, toss him in the water and go, you know anything about that?
It's true.
Aye. Probably not a bad idea, actually.
Because if he's truly a priest of Lathander, surely saying that under his own temple, you know what I mean? He should have a reaction, and we should get some idea of whether he's hiding anything or nothing.
Aye. I'm all in favour of that. Don't like being lied to. I'm a very honest dwarf.
I'm as honest as the day is long.
It's a shame that it's 7:30.
Aye,
You're
it's
a very
winter.
short man.
All right. Well, if everybody's okay with that, you will wait for Sengo and Father Merryweather come strolling back round after 15 minutes or whatever. And Father Merryweather saying, "So would you be interested to convert to Lathander there, Sengo? I mean, I know it's an unusual choice, the son and all that, but."
I take a look at the lads and wait for some sort of like facial reaction from them. So who's going to give us a facial reaction?
Well, Rick can look quite Scottish at you if that works.
But understanding the twin telepathy from Rick, I go, would I fuck? And I grab hold of him and I drag him in and toss him towards
He goes,
Rick.
oh, what are you doing, Sengo?
Right,
Soz there, lads, I tripped.
yeah, let's get him towards this water hole.
Right, so you drag him through the rubble to the open hole that was in Father Dool thing, and he's like, oh, what's that? Is the basement collapsed? And
Push him down the hole.
you push him down the hole. There's a few short echoey screams and then a loud splash at the bottom. And,
I'll trot down after him. Short sword out.
You trot down, he emerges from the water, spluttering and coughing, does that thing where he spits out a stream of water, and he says, "You're all bloody mad, what you doing?"
Have you seen what's here?
He looks around, and then it finally dawns on him what's in here, the partially submerged temple, and he's like, oh, my Lathander. Go on, make an insight check.
Who can do that?
Well,
I've got just +1.
whoever's there, I suppose.
Not all of us.
Oh, Shashelian, he's like, right, by his wide-eyed, gormless stare, you do genuinely believe that he is not aware that this was under the Lathander shrine, and he's sort of horrified by the sight of it.
We make eyes with him and just say, look, we need to know more about Dougal.
We thought he was some sort of Irish half-wit with a He-Man bedspread. And now...
He said...
and a punch out for cups of tea.
He said, oh, my mic's picking up all those fireworks.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yeah.
I thought that was someone breathing. I genuinely thought it was someone with like...
brown pepper.
I thought, did I like this?
No,
I
it's
really like
fireworks.
D&D.
I love D&D, I do.
Don't walk into the light.
He says, no, he was sent down from Neverwinter. He produced his letter of recommendation from the Abbey for me to take him in, and I haven't been up in Neverwinter to see him, and he's been a good lad. He was really good at doing all of the funerals and laying spirits to rest, and,
That he was.
Very good he was.
Did he just turn up and say, I've come from the Abbey, or were you expecting him?
No, I wasn't expecting him, but he turned up and he had all of the correct paperwork, and he had a signed letter from the Archbishop, and, you don't argue with the Archbishop. He do like a tipple, and he gets bloody angry, and you don't want to clip off him, to believe me. So I took him in, and the Lathander temple was just an old temple that we repurposed when we started rebuilding the...
Whose idea was it that you repurposed it?
It was the town reclamation committee. It was just...
Dougal wasn't on that then.
No, he turned up after that. I had no idea that this was under here.
Oh.
Is this the only place he's investigated?
It's the only place he used. He's used his wand of secret thingeries, and
let's
nothing
like
else
have a
showed up.
further look around. See what else the sneaky little bastard's been doing.
I don't think there's going to be anything else in here, but that's just me personally.
Can we try and work out when Dougal turned up as to how close it was to all that shit started happening? No, was it just before? Was it just after? Was it exactly the same time or what?
No, he turned up quite a while before all this sort of kicked off.
Aren't we supposed to be looking for the necromancers or whatever they are, the undead?
Well, we think he was a necromancer, don't we?
He was at least a cleric and or necromancer following Miracle by the shrine, is what it looks like.
Oh, right, okay. Right, sorry, I thought you were... So he wouldn't have sent the letter to the lass to tell her not to do it yet?
No, he wouldn't have.
So someone else has sent that then?
Yeah.
So effectively, that's why he said we're on his side kind of thing, because we've been fighting against the lightning ones.
And we killed that vampire who was obviously either a rival of his or just an irritating...
Absolutely. Well, no, the vampire was part of that side because they were trying to stop that lightning lass. They were undead.
Yeah,
he was leading.
Yes, the vampire would be on Merkel's side, wasn't he? Angela Merkel.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
And it was apparently...
So basically,
apparently,
been playing us.
If you remember, he'd, and I'm doing air quotes here, he'd heard in confession that there was something going down, so he sent you off to...
he's played us to get rid of this lass.
Yeah, and accidentally as you were there, you seem to have offed either a rival or somebody you didn't like, or somebody
Or
that
he's
ous him a
alive or
tenner or
something.
whatever.
I think the thing that confused me a bit was because I thought this is kind of metagaming here, but I always thought Dougal was a misprint that you misread, so you ended up with an extra character or something.
He was. I'm that good a GM, I just worked him into the storyline.
Is there anybody in town who Dougal was particularly close to other than yourself?
You lot seem to be his best friends, to be honest.
Oh, bloody hell.
Right, so
He seemed to spend a lot of time at the graveyard, quieting spirits and stuff, and doing all the funerals. I mean, I hate doing funerals. Obviously, being the mourning lord, we don't like burying people. So I was quite happy that he volunteered to do all of the funerals and what have you.
You know, you love being at the graveyard. That never, bugged.
Well,
Never
it's
thought,
why
that's a bit dodgy for a
I sent him when you
Android.
said you needed an exorcism, and apparently, I mean, Edigal wasn't too keen, but I knew for whatever reason he'd be rather good at exercising the ghosts and things for some reason. He's just, had a knack for it, as it were.
Like a necromantic Mr. Motivator.
So where else can we go now? Didn't the seer tell us somewhere?
No, what you are now looking for is looking for a way to get to Thunder Cliffs.
Yeah, I think we need to get to the island, don't we?
And does anybody,
Yeah.
a child of the 80s, can say Thunder Cliffs without going Thunder, Thunder, Thunder Cliffs?
There is a very good CGI version of that recently that somebody's done. Absolutely excellent.
I suppose to go to the fisher folk if they got a boat.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good evening,
Valdi,
fisher
who's in
folk.
charge of all of the fisher folk and the water-related things, would probably be a good person to ask. She's on the town council.
Yeah, so should we head back towards the settler camp?
You head back to the settler camp where most people are, or you can head to the fishery. Usually you'll find Valdi at the fishery because now it has one of the side rooms permanently converted into the town council hall. So it's a bit like the Vicar of Dibley where they all sit about in the council hall.
It's probably the best place to go. Unless anybody else disagrees.
Yeah, I agree with you.
And you head back, and lo and behold, Baldi is messing about at the fishery. It's a half-elf female, and she is one of the most important people in the town because she deals with all of the fishery stock, which is what the major trade of Leylon will be, fishing in the shallow waters around town. And when you get there, she's busy ordering people about and writing things down in her little notepad or whatever. And she's like, hello there. And then she looks back at her notepad, officiously scribbling notes down in her notepad.
Was that pun intended?
No?
Officiously.
Officiously, yeah.
Okay. Can we ask her about potentially seeing if there was any boats that would get us out to where we need to go? For the good of the people.
You need a boat. Yeah, I certainly know some of the local captains. There's a couple in the area, actually. Can I ask where you're heading to?
That island.
Thunder Cliffs. Wow, that's it's a rough place there. Certainly couldn't get any of our official vessels there.
Could you not?
No, the seas are too rough, and the waves would smash them onto the Thunder Cliffs.
Is there anybody you'd know who could get there?
There's two captains in mind, actually, I can get in touch with. I know they've come down from Neverwinter because they've dropped a few things off and they've picked up some salted fish barrels for trading. There's Stands in Tar. She's a jovial, if slightly off-kilter tabaxi. She's
I like
a
a
little
cat.
bit reckless and daring.
What's a tabaxi?
A tabaxi is
Cat
like
person.
a cat person. Her corsair ship, the Dancing Delight, is fast and agile. She says you can trust her. Well, you can trust both of them, really. But she's kind of like the, for want of a better word, swinging from the yardarm on a piece of rope while shouting orders and, that kind of thing. But tabaxi are like that anyway. The
Who's the
second
other one?
is Christopher, a white dragonborn. He's calculating, efficient, and sombre. He captains a galley called the Ice Floor. He's outfitted that to break through the icy waters of the far north. So he's picked up quite a lot of salted fish. He must be going up to trade up Icewind Dale or something like that because they're always looking for food. I can send out a message for both of the captains to come ashore so you can speak to them, or I can message one of them if you've made a decision which one you prefer to travel in.
I don't know why, but I'm feeling more inclined for Catwoman.
Yeah.
I think my problem is I went for Tabaxi because I wanted to play a Tabaxi, so I'm metagaming here, so it might be worth if other people make the choice.
So what you want is basically a furry version of Captain Jack Sparrow meets Errol Flynn. This is the kind of impression you get about Stans in Tar.
See, I think that's a good impression.
As long as she hasn't got a cousin called Stans in shit, I'm not.
Do you want me to send the message to both the captains, or
Should we meet both of them? Have we got time to meet with both of them?
Catwoman will do.
We need to be fast. She said she's fast and she's flighty. If he's calculating, he might be more concerned about the risks. She doesn't sound like she's as bothered, so yeah, I think we should go with her.
right? Not a problem. I'll send a message out on one of the fishing boats, and you should hear back pretty soon.
On what boat?
The fishing boats, the fishing boats that the town operate. Like I said, they're anchored nearby, but they're anchored obviously at the deeper part of the sea. The water that's around Leolon is shallow and sort of marshy. So basically, the skiffs are like narrow bottomed boats that the fishermen paddle about in. The water's only about like 6 feet deep in most places. So if you imagine like, one of them Louisiana swamps, it's kind of like that, the water around here. But when you get past that, obviously as you get to the sea, the ships are anchored out there. So she'll send the message out.
Is that the Everglades sort of thing?
Yeah, like the Everglades.
Yeah, so just send it over to Stans in Tar.
Yeah, right. No problem. Are you just staying at your place? Have you got a tent in the settlers' camp, or have you taken up residence in one of the slightly damp houses?
I think we should just occupy Lathantha temple and just tell him we're fucking camping down here tonight, you little bitch.
Oh.
For the trouble.
Yeah.
But you do have your own house that you can rent. You didn't pick specifically which one it is, but there's so many of these houses currently standing empty because they're only partly reconstructed.
Oh.
You can even pick it on the map, I don't mind.
Can we have that one that's right next to the Thunder Shrine? That looks like a canny little house. The rest of them are fucked.
Well, you can right click and then pointers and then draw a little circle and draw it on the one you want.
Have you got the same map as me, though? Drawing?
I have just shared it. I don't know why you're not getting it.
Because I've already got it open, so can you reshare it to me?
Yeah, well, close your map.
I have.
There you go.
Which one is it that we're meant to have open? Because I also had a map open. Right, yes, that's the one I had open.
Let you draw.
There you go. So, which one are you after? The little...
The one just sort of like north of the Lavender Shrine. It's like a circular building with a triangular roof. It looks like teepee.
That one?
Yes, that's the one.
So that's your house? Yeah, certainly you can.
Is everybody all right with that?
Yes.
All right.
We can spoon in that one underneath the furs.
You can.
I'm not all right about that, but
What you would prefer us not to have furs?
There's no furs. All right. Okay.
No furs whilst I'm spooning.
Unless there's anything you want to do over the next couple of days until.
how long will it take to get the message to and back to the captain?
She says it'll probably take a day or two for it to come in.
Could Dave not have just ran to them?
Dave probably could run to them, yeah.
As a ranger, he must have sort of like really good stamina.
Just because Aragorn runs everywhere in Lord of the Rings, and he's like, we're going to run, but can we not just take the bus? No, we're going to run.
Yeah. No, but you'd imagine as a ranger, he would have good stamina. It's just like you'd imagine Sengo would have good stamina being like an outdoorsman warrior type.
Wee Rab, can you turn into birds yet?
You can.
Aye, he can fly.
Is it worth turning into a bird and flying over to the ship and asking the message to get quicker?
I was thinking about turning into a dolphin and chattering to them. And they'd be like, what's that, Skippy?
You don't know what that looks
Kids
like.
trapped down a well.
You do know what a shark looks like, which would obviously be horrifying to her. There's a shark trying to leap up on deck.
No, he could just sort of like
Stab
do
it
like
with
a
boat hooks.
shark flip and in midair change back into regular form, landing
Maui.
gracefully on the deck for 10.
Right, well, do
fact,
you want to
I
do
want to
that,
see
or do
that
you just want
happen,
to wait
Chris.
until she comes in?
Well, let's just wait. It's not like we're physically waiting 2 days, is it?
It's
Do you know what I mean?
Well, actually, no, this is a serious game. It's in real time, so we're just going to sit here quietly for 2 days until the robot comes in.
Quietly.
I'll speak to you in a couple of days.
Right.
Let us spoon.
Is there anything you want to do or investigate or buy while you're in town, while you're waiting?
Could we go to... Which one's the tavern? They have got a tavern, haven't they?
They don't have a tavern yet. They have a temporary one in the settlers' camp, which is basically a big tent with some beer in.
Right, I'd like to go to the beer tent.
What's the House of Thalavar, Rich?
The House of Thalavar is that big tower that was haunted by the ghost.
In there.
Yeah, I know, but what is it? Just the family name Thalavar, is it?
Yes.
All right. I thought that might have
Can I
been
go to
like
the beer tent and just obviously drink beer, but also potentially strike up any conversation to hear anything going on in the local town?
Yeah, I'll do the same.
Rumors.
Right, so you head to the beer tent as you have really nothing much else to do at the moment, unless there's anything you can
We'll
think of.
do the old interested party trick of sort of like buying several rounds. So I'll put some gold behind the bar. It always like loosens lips.
Yeah. The main...
That was a little some entertainment.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
Edgar and Wee Rab are going to duet on the bagpipes, are they?
Oh, I definitely.
Oh no.
All right, go on, give us a bagpipe duet in the beer tent. That would be performance checks. Oh no, Andy, your parry is
so
completely
that
messing
actually
up
clear this time.
and really sound awesome. Not like your normal crescendo of like two gnomes strangling a cat between them. It actually sounds like
awesome.
it sounds like an and you raise everybody's spirits. There's a lot of clapping and singing, and beers flow freely. You're given a few free pints. Generally, the conversation is about the bad weather that was happening a couple of days ago.
It's better now, isn't it?
It's much better now, yeah. It's all eased off. It was like end of the world kind of rain, that was. I swear to God.
Yeah.
It was like end of the world rain. I couldn't see my hand in front of me face, and then it just went. It was like a bloody miracle.
Or a banishment, yeah.
Yeah, and there's a couple of people mentioned like Father Droogle's had to go off to see either uncle, sister, brother up in Neverwinter. Nobody's quite sure, and they all say, "Oh, he was a bit touched in there, the lad, but he was a canny old bloke, you know." So it generally seems like he was well liked around town. I mean, he certainly.
What they mean by touched in the head.
You know, a bit.
Priestly touched.
He'd been lashed on the head by an ogre, kind of thing.
Touched in the pants, boyo.
So he generally has a good thing. He used to do a funeral. Wonderful. I've never seen anybody like him doing a funeral.
How old was he?
How old was he? He seemed
It
quite.
just sounded like he was. I thought he was a young lad, mate.
Yeah, he did seem quite young. I mean, Dragonborns age differently. I think. So he seemed quite young to you. But whether that was, whatever. So you head to bed and you wake up with a bit of a hangover, have some hair of the dog or bacon or whatever, and a messenger runs up and says, "Oh, you've got a meeting down at the fishery. There's a cat lady there. She's waiting for you."
Knack the beer, breakfast beer, and maybe head down.
This beer tastes well better with bits of brains in.
Adds flavour.
gives it a bit of body.
It adds to the fermentation.
Right, so you head to the fishery. Standing outside on the docks, you see a flamboyant tabaxi woman. She is kind of like a tabby cat colour, and she has several ear piercings with large gold-looking earrings poking out of them. She wears flamboyant, overly sort of not combat effective clothes at all. It's all swirling silks and sashes and things like that. She's got a big high pair of boots, but the toes are cut out of them so that she can stand on her naturally clawed feet. Can you please give me an insight check? And stands in tar, gives you a big beaming smile. She gives you a big beaming smile as you approach, and she says, "This one is pleased to meet your shipmates," as she tucks her thumb into her sash. Right, let me have a look at these.
What do you mean? I've never seen her. Take your thumb out with me.
Wee Rab Sengo. Right, you notice that she's very slightly swaying left. She's very slightly swaying left and right, and you catch a whiff in the air of two strangely mixed smells. One is rum, and the other appears to be catnip.
So she's pissed, stoned, and she's still got her say legs.
And then she basically gives a big sweeping bow and does the hand rolly thing, and so that her nose almost touches the ground, and she says, this one drives the dancing delight, and the delight, she can outmaneuver or outrun any ship on the ocean or any ship on the open ocean.
We heard you were a fast captain. That's what we need. We need to get over to the Thunder Hawk Peak.
This one will take you to the Thunder Cliffs. We've been paid handsomely by our friends in the fishery, Valdi, and she gives a smile and then slightly staggers to one side.
Thunder.
Thundercats.
She says, when would you like to leave?
I'm just going to say to her, you look like you've been having a few good nights as well. Are you quite up for this sort of mission? You know, heading over to dangerous waters like that.
She says, this one is always up for it.
Is she a cat?
Yes.
Yes,
She's literally a humanoid cat.
that's what tabaxi are.
Can you play as one of them?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to be. Next character, a barbarian cat.
Does it have to be a barbarian?
Does it have to be a barbarian?
They worship the Cat Lord, which is like some god cat trickster, which I reckon is my old cat.
She says, well, this one is ready to set sail whenever you are. We have plenty of rum, we have plenty of catnip, and we have plenty of biscuits to be picking the weasels from. And at that she lets out a light, giggly, jovial laugh.
Sounds delightful.
So, all right, Kitty, tell her to see a ship.
Yeah, I think we should speak to the party. Should all kind of huddle together and see whether or not we agree that.
So Rick does that thing where he holds his finger up and just goes like, 1 minute, and like holds the finger up. Bear with.
1 minute pass.
We all bear with her like around the circle, and like we all like look up at her and sort of like pause, look at her, and then come back in.
Right.
Are we all right with that?
As you go into the huddle, you look away, and then you just sort of like look over out the corner of your eye. You see her reach under her sash and pulls out. It looks like a little bud of some kind of herb or something like that. There's a small waft of the smell of rum, and she sort of sniffs it and then like sucks this herb and then throws it into the water, and her eyes sort of go wide and her pupils go big. She says, this one is very ready.
Rick's going to point out that I like a drink as much as the next dwarf, but she seems like she's off her tits most of the time. Is she a good one to go with?
Well, Valdi has vouched for both of those.
I say we go. She could be like fucking wicked in a fight, like Puss in Boots.
Right. So we need to get her some bigger boot.
So think a cat from Red Dwarf. So she's like, takes you on the ship, and she's like, okay, this is mine.
She's like,
this cannon is mine. This steering wheel, this is mine. These masts, these are all mine.
Yeah, Rick will say, yes, fine. Right, well, I suppose we've been in worse circumstances. Let's go with that.
Right. So are you ready to leave now? Do you have all your bags?
Can we send a messenger for our bag? Sorry, I did actually forget what game I was in. Yeah, we better go and get our bags, and then perhaps meet her at the dock or the little boat, or I don't really know how she got here.
She got there on a little rowboat from the ship.
Right.
So she was pulled ashore
Does she have,
by
is there
a
enough space
couple
on the rowboat?
of the most scurvy-looking sea dogs that you've ever seen in your life.
Is there enough room on the boat for us? On the wee rowing boat for all of us?
Yes. Apparently it is under the effects of plot physics, so there's just enough room to fit everybody who wishes to travel on the rowing boat.
Plot physics. A dark magic indeed.
Indeed it is. There's just enough
The convenient of all the magics.
Yeah,
Can I cast detect magic on the plot magic? I don't know.
there's just enough space for you lot, all of your bags. Earl's character who's had a bit too much to drink and is still fast asleep, and you're unable to rise.
Now, we've just got him wrapped up in a rucksack.
Yeah, you just
that Enrico's carrying.
yeah, between Ettigal and
Dragon.
Rab, there's just a
Dragon.
hammock strung between them with a lash on it.
And his head's just sort of like hanging out of it, banging on all the cobbles. Like swears every now and then in Russian.
Yeah. Right, so does anybody want to do anything? Rick, are you okay to just get on this boat with this mad
Yeah,
cat captain?
he's just gonna go.
Oh,
with
can
it.
I want to take a travel sickness tablet.
Okay, so you go and see the herbalist and get some travel sickness tablets.
No, I already had some pre-prepared.
Ettigal, is there anything you want to do before you leave?
I don't think so.
Very well. Sengo, we
We're
know.
off.
Shashelian,
Yeah, I'm fine.
you okay? And Weavrab, anything else?
Yep, fine.
Right, so you load yourself into this boat. There's a small, what turns out to be half-empty cask of rum at the prow, and she stands there with one foot up on the prow, leaning on her knee, looking forward out into the thing, and she says, "This one will promise that you have a lot of fun on the open seas." She slaps her
All right,
thigh,
Jacqueline.
just because that's what pirates do.
Who's Rowan?
The two scurvy sea dogs.
Oh.
One of them is in fact called
Are they like
Rowan.
actually dogs?
One of them is actually called Rowan, and as you see it, who's Rowan? And the other one points to him and goes, "He's Rowan."
And I'm bored.
Yeah. And then you have the whole who's on top. No, I mean who's Rowan the boat. He's Rowan in the boat, and
At this point, Rick just sits down and gets his own hip flask out.
right. Occasionally, you see what does in fact turn out to be rum-soaked catnip. You see her enjoying a good snifter of that as you row back to the ship. I wonder if I have a map for the ship. I don't think I do, because it would be cool to actually show you what she looks like. The Dancing Delight. Right, so you head off, and can we have a constitution check to see if you have your sea legs or not?
Do I get advantage because I took travel sickness tablets?
Yes, you do.
Oh, that 20. They
No.
fucking work, lads. They work. They work.
20. Right, so everybody seems to be okay. You got more than 10. So Dave looks to be the least steady on his sea legs. As you all stand there eating bacon sandwiches on the morning, the boat rows backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards, and he blanches a little, but it seems to be okay. And the day passes without trouble. Do you want to speak to?
No, I've got like this big ball of like rope inside of me bag, and what I'm going to do is, while she's sort of like staring lustfully out to the horizon, I'm going to sort of like chuck little bits of the rope and sort of like pull it slowly, then yank it past her to see what she does.
I'm not sure we're meant to be teasing the cat.
Jeez, I'm glad you said cat.
I'll tease. I'll chat with the sailors, see if we can get any gossip.
Right, okay.
So, Rowan, boat.
Aye, Rowan boat. He's a Welsh pirate. He is. Yar. Rowan boat. Welsh pirate.
Are we in Wales? There's a lot of natural Welsh people here.
There's an awful lot of Welsh people we've discovered now. Isn't there?
It's just Wales.
You try to strike up a conversation with the sailors, but they look busy. And other than the captain and the first mate, everybody seems to be a little down, and they're kind of putting their heads down and getting on with their jobs.
Can we try and
Well-trained sea dogs. Well-trained sea dogs. That's sea discipline.
Yeah, but why do they look down? Like miserable, I took it to be.
I thought he said just looks down and gets on with the jobs. That's what you would do when you run.
Yeah, that was.
Right,
Is
so
that what exactly do you mean by that, Rich? Do you mean the way I mean it, or do you mean like down as in like, oh God?
They seem a little not unhappy, but the same, they're not singing the sea shanties, as all good pirate movies has taught us that pirates do as they sail along.
Especially Muppet Treasure Island.
Yeah, it's exactly like Muppets Treasure Island.
Without the singing.
But without the singing.
I bet they don't want to go to this island.
Yeah.
And
Nobody.
she's made them.
Not the Cliffs of Thunder.
Thunder.
Aye, then.
Is it worth trying to see if anybody looks a bit more talkative and maybe asking why they're so apprehensive or what's up with them? Perhaps Rick might go over to one who looks a bit short and offer him a bit of his own dwarf concoction in his hip flask.
Dwarf holy water.
Yeah, fire slayer water, and see whether or not he can get any. Can I roll a charisma? See if I can get any communication.
You certainly can. You can have advantage as you're throwing rum about. Oh, that's a dirty 20.
He's got being a warlock. I've got high charisma.
Right, so it's like the typical older pirate. He's obviously only got a few years left in him, and he's sort of as he's bending over, scrubbing the deck, like creaking his back, and you like walk over and you offer him a snifter of dwarven holy water, and he says, "Thank you, young'un," even though you're probably about twice his age.
Yeah.
And he seems amicable to having a conversation as he helps himself to the.
Right.
Does it continue to roll though? 'Cause we've got
You're not
places
raw.
to go.
You're now on the big ship. You're on the Dancing Dog.
Oh right, sorry.
Yeah.
Can Rick suggest that, I noticed the crew's not exactly as exuberant as the captain is. You know where that is?
Give us a persuasion check.
Persuasion. Oh, no, that was bad. Oh, it helps if I actually throw it in the box, doesn't it? Ugh.
Not bad at all. He says, well, you can't speak ill of your crewmates because, hang on, let me get all pirate here. Well, you can't speak ill of your crewmates because, we have to share a ship with them. He says, but things have been better. It's been a bit quiet.
On the treasure front.
I can't keep that voice up. I tried, sorry, to go all piratey for you.
Just do your Somerset voice.
No, these are not Somerset pirates. I'll try and be a bit piratey, but not doing the growly bit.
Arr.
He says, well, the merchants have been going with other ships lately. That be all. So it's quiet round here. No, I have gone Somerset. He's a Somerset pirate.
Cornish Somerset.
Rick will give him a drop of the booze and say, "Oh, why the merchants going with others? Are you not offering competitive fees?"
Aye, we are, but we are.
Yes.
He says, and he sort of looks shiftily backwards and forwards. Give us another persuasion check with advantage this time because you're giving him the good stuff.
Aye. That was a bit better.
That's much better. He says, well, it's the captain, you see. She's always been a bit wild and, it was fun at first, sailing the 9 seas and, privateering and all that, but she's taking more and more risks lately. She's always hitting the catnip and she's getting so wild that the other captains will not deal with her.
I can understand why that's concerning. You need a solid figure of a captain. She does seem a bit jovial with her exuberances.
Ask him what she's like in a fight.
Yeah.
In a fight, she's a devil. I've seen her take down 3 men. 3 men at once. She's an absolute whirlwind. She's all claws and teeth.
Rick's going to go, oh, that's interesting, but I thought it was because we were heading towards this island that people didn't like.
The Cliffs of Thunder? No, we just dropping you off. We're not going to be pulling over in the ship. We can't get the ship too close, so we'll lend you a rowboat. Once we get past the rocks, that's the danger of the Cliffs of Thunder.
Right. So, to a certain extent, I'm wondering whether or not we need to be bothered about this being a bit.
No, we didn't.
Broad. Rick might continue to ply him with a little bit more of the liquid and suggest, that sounds terrible for you, and kind of console with him a bit, show a bit of empathy, dwarven empathy. We're well known for it, and ask if there's anything else that would be of interest to a paying crew passenger at the moment. Basically, I just want to see if there's anything he can tell me that's interesting.
He says, well, after 3 bells, the lads get together in Old and we play a game of liar's dice. Normally it's just a crew, but I can put a good word in for you if you want a game of liar's dice.
Brett's going to say, what is liar's dice?
Liar's dice is a traditional shipboard dice game. It was played both on Royal Navy ships and in Pirates of the Caribbean, in fact. Basically, you roll a bunch of D6s and you have to say, right, well, I've got 4 5s, and if somebody thinks you haven't got 4 5s, they'll bet against you, and if you do have 4 5s and they bet against you, then you reveal them, and that's the basic premise to it anyway.
Classic pirate gambling game, I say.
Aaron knew what it was. I was just trying to see whether or not it was something slightly different. Is it worth... I don't think Rick's really a gambler. But I might say, yeah, keep that space open for one of us, and I'll go off and I'll go and speak to the rest of the party, and I'll tell them what we found out about the captain. They're not really that bothered about the cliffs of Dover or wherever we're going, the island of Thunder. The Thunder Cliff.
The Thunder Cliff, that one.
The Thunder Cliff. And I'll point out that, if anybody fancies a game, they're having a little liar's dice session downstairs, just in case any of you lot particularly want to go for a game.
How long is it going to take for us to get to this place? Like,
You should arrive sort of by nightfall the following day. If you want to go at night, you can, or you can wait until the following morning. The captain will drop anchor and wait for you, so you can set out first thing in the morning. So you
Should
can turn up
we
at
wait till
nightfall
low-
or in the morning. It's up to you.
can we wait a low tide?
Totally up to you. You're just
Nighttime is
tell the
not good
captain.
when we've already been warned about the rocks.
Well, no, they'll sail past the rocks and they'll drop anchor and they'll give you a rowboat, and you can either row there at night or you can row there in the morning when it's light. It's up to you. Captain's prepared to wait
Prefer
for
to
you.
Wait until the morning. What about you, lads?
Yeah, you're fine.
Yeah, wait until the morning.
Aye, morning.
Right, so you head to bed.
Has
That
anybody
evening.
got for liar's dice?
Has anybody gone for a game of liar's dice? There's also 4 potions of greater healing in the party sheet. If you want them, just
Can
drag
I
them
have
to
one
your-
of those, please?
Yeah, drag it to your character sheet. And 1 potion of
I
healing,
quite often
a
take
scroll
damage.
of call lightning.
Oh, where did that come from? The
I don't even know, but there was probably from...
Does anybody particularly want the scroll of coal lightning? Because if not, I would quite like
You
it.
need
but
to be some kind of caster to use it, I believe.
I was going to say I couldn't do. Well, I could
I'm
cast
an
that, couldn't I?
arcane
'Cause I've got casting spells for like light and that.
You've got to succeed on an Arcana check, and I'm an
I'm not
Arcana.
gonna. I mean, it's not gonna bother me because I just like to run in and fight things.
Is anybody else an Arcana caster? I didn't think they were.
You can have it.
Yeah,
all right?
go for it.
Is none of you going to take advantage of those potions of greater healing? Because there's still 3 more.
I've still got a potion of superior healing.
Oh, fucking check you.
Ooh,
Well, would you mind if the other 3 lads just take those then?
Not at all. Because I kind of came late to the game, I always feel like, I'd take less stuff.
That's silly, Darren.
I know, but
Silly. You're one of us now.
Rick came
Part
late.
of the crew, part of the crew, part of the ship. Part of the crew, part of the ship.
That's what they
Right, so,
say.
so you retire into your hammocks and sleep well during the night. Right. Everybody here except Rick and Kalash, who has slept the entire time, just drank so much vodka that he's in his hammock just drinking. Right. You're awakened in the middle of the night by a scraping noise, a clunk, and what sounds like whispering in the corridor.
Ooh.
I'll get my armour on and sword ready.
Is that all of us hear this, Rich?
Everybody except Rick.
And
I don't know if you can see, I've rolled a perception check, and Rick
yeah, I failed it.
is fast asleep.
Yeah, everybody up.
He's had too much of the
Snoring
dwarven Hollywood.
profoundly.
I had too much dwarven firewater.
Right, well, I'm going to unsheath me dragon's bane.
Shing.
No, gently. So it's more like this.
I'll wake anybody still asleep.
Right, okay, so basically, Rick, so you shake Rick roughly. Rick, you're roughly shaken awake by Shashelian.
What do you want?
I think there may
Oh,
be
wee
trouble.
bastard. Ahead.
Right. I'll manifest my weapon.
Shelley.
Right, okay, so you are worshipping the morning Lord and you're providing your morning water. I manifest my morning glory in the hammock.
I have a battle axe of purple energy, I'll have you know.
Okay, enough said about that then. Right, so you manifest your battle axe and the rest of you quietly tug your armour on, presumably?
Yep.
Right. So by the time you've managed to tug your armour on, there's the sound of a closing door at the end of the corridor. You know, at the end of the corridor, there's a door that leads up to the deck, and it sounds like, the click as that door's closed. What would you like to do?
I'm happy I think some of the smaller lads should maybe sort of like go out first because they can stick to the shadows.
The rogue.
Is there any way we can see in the corridor, like, has the door got any knots in it, or can we, like, look underneath it?
Yeah, you can look underneath the door. It's dark and you don't see anything. It's just a corridor underneath the door.
One of you roguey types, oil them hinges, let's get this door open quietly.
Right, I'll oil the hinges. Do we need to pick the lock?
No, you're just in a cabin with hammocks. Yeah. So you oil the hinges and silently slide the door open.
Yep.
There's an empty corridor leading up to the door, which leads up towards the deck.
Well, I'd better stealth my way along this corridor then and go and have a listen.
Okay. Make a stealthy roll. All right. You roll at +8. Bloody rogues. Right, you creep along to the door and you can hear muffled whispering and it sounds like maybe the clink of weapons, but it's not very loud. It's as if it's too quiet on the other side to make out where it is.
They attack us, though. Unless they're going to attack the captain.
Because most of us, if not all of us, have got dark vision, haven't we?
Everybody's got dark vision, yes.
Right, so if I mouth ambush and point at the door, the lads will be able to see us.
Yes. You do that. You say article, mouth an ambush and pointing at the door.
So who's outside the door, like?
You don't know. You haven't opened the door.
All right.
Can I cast Detect Magic?
You cast Detect Magic. Does it have a vocal component?
Oh, that's a good point, actually.
Do you yell in the middle of this quiet? All you can hear in the ship is the creak, creak
Detect magic!
Creak as it rolls backwards and forwards on the waves, and then Rick shouts, "Detect magic, you bastards!" at the top of the voice.
It does have a vocal component.
So, yeah, do you want to cast
Could
Detect
you not
Magic?
just whisper it?
Yeah, can I whisper it? Can I go, Detect?
Make a stealth check.
Oh, no.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
Well,
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes.
I've had some good rolls tonight.
You whisper and you cast Detect Magic.
Detect nothing.
I guess
Yeah, roll
there's
that.
maybe some magic above you.
Definitely magic in the room with all the magic shit we've got.
Yeah. You look back in the room and you're glowing so much that the Thug Life music plays. It's like dun 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 dun. Every member of the party is literally glowing white hot with this radiant magic.
Hey.
And then it freezes, the sunglasses appear over your face and it just goes,
Right.
Thug Life.
Sure. Let's do a shield wall. Me and Rick.
You
Shash.
can't do a shield
Put a
wall
shield
in a
wall
narrow
up.
corridor on a ship.
You
That would
can
be silly.
You can stand shoulder to shoulder with shields side by side to stop them from getting in, thus
Right.
making a kill zone.
You can if you want. Okay, Andy, you're at the door. These two are back at the cabin and the former shield wall, you guess? It looks
No, obviously, you're twisting. Obviously, this would have been communicated to the rest of the party.
Well, I wanted to sidle back far enough down the corridor up against the wall so that if the people on the other side of the door bolt the door open, it's not going to catch me in the face, so to speak.
No problem.
So, is that a good idea, lads? We could put. They're not going to get through us and it'll be they'd have a disadvantage. Remember as well if they come towards the two people shoulder to shoulder with shields.
Okay.
And then,
You might have to go on your knees. Remember, I am a dwarf.
what I want to do is, hang on, I just need to check something. I do apologise. Give us a minute. I want to listen out, particularly for any sign of them starting to come towards to open the door, so that I've got time to do something before they actually do open the door.
Right, okay. So you do that. So while you're faffing about doing this, you hear a muted roar, and then the sound that sounds like a door being booted open in quite a distance, and then the ring of metal upon metal. And you're all standing, looking rather foolish in a corridor by yourselves.
They're not attacking us. I think they're going after the... Rick's going to say he thinks...
I think it's a mutiny.
We're down the corridor, full pelt, and up through the door.
Right, you throw the door open and it leads up a set of those, piratey steps and onto the deck, and there's another door at the top which is slightly ajar, and you can hear sort of a great uproar, and then the ringing sounds of what appears to be a sword fight going on the deck.
Coming out.
Can we make out anything that what's happening?
You do
Yeah,
what?
no, I don't really want to get involved in this if we don't know whose side we're going to come down on.
I think we'll probably like the captain, don't we? We've all kind of
I'd prefer to have the captain, but you made friends with the crewman.
alcohol. I'm a dwarf. That doesn't mean that I'm friends.
Right, then let's go and differentiate the crises.
Bracey's ran forward to the bottom of the stairs and you can hear sword fighting going on. Ching, 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 ching. And sort of meow noises. And
I'll go with it.
So let's turn the captain's front.
somebody's in the captain's tail.
I'll go
Right,
with
Rob. I'll follow the party.
Yeah, I'll head them.
So are you running up onto the air?
Yeah. I think logically, there's no point going against the captain because the crew might not let us go where we want to go.
Right, so you run up
No, I
onto the
think the
deck. The
captain's
deck
off.
is a sea of angry-looking sailors up on the poop deck where the wheel is. The captain stands at the top of the stairs, scimitar lashing left and right, defending off four guys at once.
Does she have any allies?
She has no allies.
Oh, alas.
You hear as she's defending against it. And they were right, by the way. She fights like a demon. She's lashing left and right. Apparently, the sailors don't seem to be going for killing blows, but she like licks out and lops one of their ears off, who howls and sort of clasps the side of his thing. And to be honest, she seems to be enjoying herself. And then a Kalashite lady who you understand to be the purser, but you haven't really spoke to her. She shouts out, "Captain, I demand ye surrender. We will let you go. We'll give you the rum and we'll put you on a boat and you can sail off. But you cannot command the ship anymore. We've had a vote." And this is where you come bursting out. A lot of the crew turn round, cutlasses in hand. They look at you.
If I can, when the party bursts out through the door and the crew look round, can I use that as a distraction to kind of sidle off into the shadows and try and work my way forward?
You certainly can. Okay, give us a stealth check.
If it's being a vote, should we not try and mediate this?
Ethical cursing that he's on the sea and there's no bushes on the sea. Right, Andy disappears reasonably well into the rigging or behind a barrel or something.
Because I want to try and work my way up so I can climb onto the poop deck and sort of pop out next to Captain and go, "Well, it's not just you, we'll help you," sort of thing.
Okay, what are the rest of you doing? Well, Ethical.
Should it not be mediated? Because at the end of the day, if the crew's...
Right, Costisha. This is the Kalashite purser.
What's Kalashite again?
Kalashite's a bit like Arabian Nights.
I think I've heard of it, but
yeah. So she's got a swarthy complexion and she looks a bit like an Aladdin type character. She says to you, "The captain, she likes the rum and the catnip too much. She's getting too wild. We've took a vote and we're going to have to get rid of her." She says, "Now you've paid. We'll stand by that. You've been paid us fair and square and we'll drop you off wherever you want to go. But the captain, she has to go. She's getting on a boat with her rum and a goddamn catnip."
I feel sorry for her, but it's only because she...
Can we take her with us?
That's a good idea. Why don't we suggest that somebody shout that? Like, she can come with us.
If you grant us safe passage, she can come with us and be part of the interest. Could she be part of our party, Rich?
How are we going to get back if they're just going to drop us off?
No, because they're giving us a boat.
Well, we're going to be able to row all the way back, are we?
No, we've got gadgets who can turn into fish and then tour us.
Gadgies.
I think you're the gadgie, the fish gadgie.
Yeah, Brizzy, you're officially, that's your title now. We rap the fish gadgie.
No, gadgie who can turn into a fish.
Right, the captain at this point has stopped and done the cat thing of like licking her paw and like stroking the top of her hair while looking at the sailor who's howling. There's blood running down the side of his face as she's just literally lopped his ear off. And she just says, "This one can kill all of you quite easily. This one is only not killing you all because I need some of you to sail the ship, but I only need a third of you to sail the ship. So do you want to draw lots and see which third of you I don't kill?" At this, the rest of the crew look kind of intimidated and they look back at Kishi and she goes, "She can't kill us all. Damn it, it's D&D. If we only had black powder pistols, we could just gun her down."
Can we? Rick's gonna shout out, "How do you fancy an adventure on that island, lass?"
I would say, give me a persuasion check. Is anybody helping them?
Yeah, I'll help them.
I've got +2 on persuasion.
Alternatively, how hard
does no one else have good persuasion?
I've got +2.
Hold on, what was that, Andy?
How hard is it to crew a ship? Could we do that? And then we won't need any of them.
There's not enough of you to crew a ship effectively. You may be able to limit it, but you might accidentally run it over the rocks, particularly since you don't know the sea or how to get.
No, but she does.
She does, yeah. Rick rolls a 17.
Bloody good.
So, are you appealing to the captain or are you appealing to?
No,
Katisha, the purser?
Well, I know what I want to do, but I would party feeling. I like the idea of trying to get her as a bit of an NPC to help us on the island.
Yeah, I do as well, especially if she's that handy in a fight.
Yeah, I think we'll appeal to the captain unless anybody strongly objects and could shout out at Rick, perhaps.
Through these treacherous dogs.
Right, well, she looks about at her and she looks about at her crew. Your persuasion is 7 higher than her wisdom roll. She basically spins her cutlass round, catching it on the point on the tip of her finger, balances it, and then flicks it down so it digs into the wood at the top of the stairs, and she says, "This one will accept that." She looks at the purser. The purser looks at you with a confused look on her face. She says, "What exactly is going on here? This is a mutiny?"
The purser says that.
Yeah, she's looking at Rick, who's doing all the persuasive. The cat's sort of like flick that. She's flicked that color switch, so it's stuck in the top of the thing, going bang.
It's not a mutiny; it's a negotiation.
You started the mutiny. We did the competitive takeover.
Oh, I know what I want to say.
Well, what do you want to say?
I look at the crew, right, and I give right, I'm going to make a performance roll here. Right, I say to them, roses are red, hedgehogs are prickly. Drop all your weapons or this will escalate quickly.
That's an intimidate roll, that. But I like it. Go on, give us an intimidate roll. 4. Right. They all unconsciously put lower their weapons. And Kashista goes, "I'm the new captain. I tell you when to put your weapons down." The previous captain gives a great feline grin at Kashista and says, "We had some good times. This one enjoyed the company of you, but maybe it's time for this one to set out for adventures new." And Kashista says, "Well, looking about at all the crews have loaded their weapons," and goes, "Well, we'll lock them in the brig until we arrive there, mind." As she sees this whole thing sort of slipping drastically out of control. Yeah, she's like, "Very well, I accept. But as new captain, I demand she's locked in the brig, and we will release her when we get to the Cliffs of Thunder."
You say, "Not a fucking chance."
Yeah, could that be the time I pop out the shadows, standing next to the captain, and go, "Nobody's locking anybody in the brig"?
No, we don't want.
Yeah.
Right, fine. We've been paid. We've taken a vote. She sleeps in with you.
She'll look at the rest of the crew like, "You guys are a bunch of dicks."
Rick's just going to look at them and go, "This is what happens when you do democracy."
She says, "You 5, get the captain, sorry, the ex-captain, I'm the captain, take her to the captain's quarters and get her to clean her crap out and move it into that, and they can enjoy sleeping with her, getting fur everywhere."
I hope they're not being literal.
So unless you're unhappy with that, they'll help stand in tar, move all of her stuff.
I think we should just rub salt in the wound and say, actually, we'll be staying in the captain's quarters until we get where we need to be.
There's quite a lot of us, remember.
Because they've just undermined us completely.
Yep, well said. I think we should move in with the captain.
Hey.
We'll do. Then it's your ship once we leave.
Yeah.
This is still her ship until she's off it.
Right, fine, whatever. Pumps off.
Does she sort of like get one sword in one hand and a little hand in the other and sort of like stamps her feet?
Yeah, she stamps her feet and storms off.
This is not quite the mutiny you had in mind when you got up this morning, Pet, is it?
Not exactly.
Mutiny with a little M.
Right. Yeah, lowercase mutiny. Right, so the next morning, after the weirdest mutiny in the history of the 9 seas, another ship comes in sight and signals that she wants to come alongside.
I think we should ask the current still captain if it's a good idea. She might still.
I'm confused. Who's captain at the moment? The cat is still.
The cat is
the captain
until we leave.
Cat's captain until we depart.
This one knows this ship is the Uneasy Alliance. This one knows Captain Starlin Winchett. This one is friends, and sometimes trades rum.
Oh, right. So yeah,
I think we should keep her away from the rum whilst we're on this island.
So
maybe a little bit of rum.
The signal. You notice there's a lot of bad looks from the sailors. The signal and the Uneasy Alliance draws alongside. Captain Winchett. Captain Starlin Winchett is a human male. He's got a slightly portly belly, a balding head, and a big scar like from his nose down to his chin. And he gives a great booming laugh as he pulls alongside, and the gangplank is set across. And he's like, "Oh there, I've got news for you." He says, "I thought I'd give you a warning as we sail past the Thunder Cliffs." He says, "Well, there was a great deal of wreckage right in front of the caves there." He says, "There wasn't no salvage, so we stayed clear of the area." He says, "But I did hear about the crew talking about a ghost ship in the area. We've only seen it from a distance, and it's hazy as the smoke that drifts from a cannon, and it emits a low moaning sound that carries across the water." He says, "I thought I'd better warn you, as you seem to be heading in that direction."
Cosmic.
Cosmic.
I knew I should have rolled the cleric.
And then he exchanges rum. He has a few quiet words with Stanzin Tar. He sort of looks at the crew and then has a word with her again. You seem to get the impression that he's saying, look, if you want to come and join my crew, like, you're welcome anytime. But she then lets one of those mad, impetuous grins out and indicates towards you lot. And he sort of shrugs his shoulders and he says, well, I'll be on my way. You should be arriving at the Thunder Cliff soon, so just you watch out for a ghost ship. Do you like ghost stories? 'Cause you're in one. Arr. Arr. Are you waiting until morning, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I thought it was morning now.
I know. Right. As you pull up to see the Thunder Cliffs, see if I have anything here. Right, the pull up inside the rocks outside the Thunder Cliffs, you can see ahead of you. It's a low tide, and there's an exposed beach, and with several cliffs that. Several caves that lead into the cliff face. He says, "This be the only beach that you can access on this here island, and only at low tide. So you load yourselves into a boat, along with Stanzin Tar, and slowly row yourself towards the Thunder Cliffs, and that is the adventure for tonight. And then next time we go to the map. On the shore, you see a load of wreckage offshore, and you see a large, those one-masted skiffs, which seems to be pulled up onto the beach. Which would maybe indicate a possible way to get off. You don't know. But yes, for tonight, the adventure is over.